Welcome to Rio with Rios, Sueños to Success podcast, the show where educators, innovators, and change makers share how they transform vision into impact. I'm your host, Dr. Victor Rios. Today, I'm honored to sit with one of the most passionate and purpose driven leaders in education that I know of. She's a proven advocate for At Promise Youth, an award winning school leader, principal, and someone who's been doing this work with heart and excellence for years. Currently, she's in the middle of LA working with some incredible At Promise young people at Whitman Continuation High School and day to day transforming lives. I've been there multiple times to see it. And it's a beautiful experience. She's developed a beautiful community of scholars. I mean, these are young people that a year before maybe were pushed out of school or left school. And then a year later, they're taking Ivy League courses with Ivy League professors. And then these young people are thriving. Their mental health needs are taken care of, and also their academic needs, of course, to prepare for a career are taken care of. Please um, help me welcome everyone, the incredible Dr. Simone Charles. Welcome, Dr.
Thank you,
Charles.
thank you, thank you, Dr. Rios. Really appreciate being here, and I love that introduction. Thank you because that is my passion. That's
Mm,
that's um that's why I'm here. I believe that is my purpose.
your purpose. Can you
Yes,
tell me, in your own words, what is your purpose?
my purpose is to help young people get to their next. Like as adults, we think of our next. What is our next? So I look at it through their lens and their eyes, and so what is their next? Because I always tell them, I see something in you that you may not even know you have or see in yourself. So they just need the mirror flipped around on them and an X-ray, if you will, so that they can see inside.
Wow. So
Right.
you provide that x ray for them.
We
To see
try, we
inside.
try, and with love. So always with love.
With love.
Yeah.
But you could be working with high achievers and provide them the opportunities to get to their next. Why is it that you've decided to work with some of the students at maybe other schools, other educators say, hey, I haven't been able to teach this young person.
Right.
Won't you teach them?
Well, because they are high achievers.
Oh,
They just haven't it hasn't been, brought out in them yet. And sometimes they need just like plants, right? Some may need a little bit more watering to grow. Sometimes, they just may need a little sprinkle here, a little sprinkle there, a little extra sunlight, a little extra love, but they are high achievers. They may not see it yet. We see it, and I see it, and I know they have that in them. And then what is high achieving in the sense of like the world, right? So high achieving in terms of your emotional IQ, high achieving in terms of your intellectual IQ, high achieving in terms of how you value life and value others and what you do for people.
mm.
So
Survival skills.
survival skills, they're high achievers in every sense of the word. Now, academically, we give them like other foundations to, prove their high achieving as measured by, other standards. So they do take those Ivy League courses. They've had Ivy League courses with Brown University, with Cornell University, and 9 of our scholars were actually or inducted into the National Honor Society because they achieved such a high level. And they weren't certain that they could do that. I was like, I know you could. I don't know why
Mm.
you thought you couldn't,
You
so
believed in them,
oh,
but
yeah.
in many ways, like when you come from an environment, and let me just make assumptions, you could correct me, but uh, foster kids,
Foster kids?
kids from maybe homes where parents aren't necessarily able to be there for them,
Yes, and homeless. We have
homeless kids.
yes, and, also we have, EL learners, so people that sometimes people think that this group or this population of students are not capable, but yes, they are, they're more than capable.
Kids que no hablan español, inglés.
Solamente hablas en español, no hablan inglés, sí.
Oh, wow, doctora, ¿usted habla
Sí,
español?
pero porque es mi segundo lenguaje, pero era maestra de español en los años pasados, pero no está muy bien ahora, pero así, así.
Wow, well, you know how to communicate with the people. That's pretty powerful. I didn't know that about you.
Oh!
Oh, wow. So yeah, that purpose. Let's start there in the beginning. Let's go back because see, that's been your purpose
Right.
now. But I'm wondering, I always love to know the story of you say the next.
Yeah.
I say the story of origins? Like,
Mm,
where's young, um, you know, child, adolescent, Dr. Charles, where is she? And is she seeking to be an educator one day,
mm.
or does she stumble upon that?
So for some reason, I think it was always destined
Mm,
because my sisters and I, like literally nerds, we played school. Like on the weekends, like we would be teachers and we would have like the little notepads and assign each other homework. So I think it was somewhere ingrained in us that we would be educators. And my mom taught Catholic school for a little bit, um, but we played school. And somewhere I always knew that I wanted to teach. I started out when I first, I'll say, went into college. I majored in communications, minored in economics, and then worked in private industry for about 5 years.
mm.
I wasn't happy, and
You didn't have a purpose there.
I didn't have a purpose.
Mm,
But one thing I did do, they had a program called Upward Bound, and I volunteered with those young people to prepare them for interview skills and what do you do? How do you shake a person's hand? How do you look them in the eye? How do you show that I belong here? So I loved doing that. And one of my sisters, who's no longer with us now, she was the reason that I got into education. She said, Simone, you've always talked about this. Take the CBEST. Just go ahead and do it.
mm,
I did it, passed it, and like literally gave my 2 weeks notice then.
And by the way, I'm sorry for your loss with your sister.
Me.
Um,
But she's here. She's here. She's the reason I'm here.
oh, she lives here
Yeah.
with you.
Hmm.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's incredible. So you get there. Okay, so you get
Hmm.
there. That's your story of becoming going into education. Was there a defining moment or experience that told you once you got here, like in education, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be?
I would say that first day, like I taught first grade, and just those little guys were like, I couldn't do kinder. God bless a kindergarten teacher. But first grade, I was like, "Oh, this is where I belong." Because I would say that second semester, that whole first semester, you're teaching them their alphabets and to read, and that second semester, when they're reading on their own, I literally cried because all of that work that you poured into them, and you see them reading on their own, you're like, "Oh my god, this is it." So
You're
I would say
seeing
that
human development unfold
yes,
before your very eyes
yes,
within a semester.
within a semester. And then you just sort of know it's just that joy that you get in seeing them grow in their educational journey.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up here in LA.
Okay.
So, mom, there's 6 of us, 6 siblings. Dad was around for a time, but then not always. They separated, later divorced, and so my mom was that kind of like that strength that kept us all together. Still connected with our dad, but our mom was the one who kept us grounded and 6 kids, 4 girls, 2 boys, you better keep them grounded. So,
Your mom was the glue.
the glue, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
From New Orleans, Louisiana, so yeah.
And she made sure that you kept in sort of going in the right direction, and that your
Yes.
sister was the one that was like, "Hey, you know what?
Mhm.
You
Absolutely.
you've always talked about being an educator. Why don't you just do it?"
Why don't I just do it? My mom is still keeping us in the right direction. She's 92, so making no mistake.
Wow. 92. That's beautiful. So you've worked in schools where students are often overlooked or underestimated. What grounded you in your early years working with That Promise Youth? Because you showed up,
Mm,
right? Maybe some of them didn't learn to read. Maybe you got to teach some first graders to read, but then you probably met some older kids that
like
weren't reading.
so it's interesting because I'll say what kept me going, what kept me grounded was, yes, those elementary school students. But then I moved on to middle school and then to high school. But in that process, while I was teaching elementary school students, I was also working with adults to teach them ESL. So I was
Wow.
still wanting to help, like, I'll say, like the spectrum of generations. So you're helping one group, but then you're helping the older group to be able to communicate with the younger ones as well.
So you've worked with everyone from the itty bitties to
Yeah.
the parents that
Yes.
are seeking a little bit more education.
Yes, because everybody wants to learn something. Sometimes they may not know how to go about it or who's out there who can help them. So for me, it's like, okay, well, here's an extension. Well, let me reach out a hand because it doesn't always have to be people asking you. Sometimes you need to go to the person and say, hey, how can I help?
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. And I know your current role, right? You work at a continuation school, and
Yes.
a lot of
Love it.
people, yeah, and a lot of people, oftentimes, especially like in LA, right? Oh, continuation school. That's where they send, the kids
Yeah.
that
That
are,
stigma.
get in trouble.
Hmm.
And you're like, but you don't see them as trouble.
No, no, no. I always tell them, even when they come in, I said, I will watch a drama, but I don't do drama.
Wait,
So
say it one more time. What say? I want to hear
I will
this.
watch a drama, but I don't do drama. So when they come in, they know, and I tell you, I said, we will take care of you. We will love you. We will support you. We'll bend over backwards for you, but just know we don't do drama. So they know coming in what the expectation is and that I expect a lot from them. And I tell them that my dad only went to 10th grade.
Mm,
So he didn't have a high school education. So I'm expecting you to get yours. So
wow.
I let them know that what you see now wasn't, like people always think, oh, well, you started out at kinder with your doctorate. No, it grew into that, but it grew into that through family, through life's learning, through steps, through wanting to help others. And so now this is my opportunity to help you.
Wow. So you got these kids, right? That really they're just lacking opportunity in life.
Yes, not lacking intellect. I always tell them, they're not second class, they're not secondhand, they just need a second chance. So don't look at
Wait,
my
hold on,
babies.
hold on. We gotta slow down because these are great sound bites. Hold on. Let me hear it one more time.
Not second class, not secondhand, they just need a second chance.
Mm.
So don't look at my babies and think, "Oh, they're less than," because my scholars, I call them scholars, my scholars know that I will fight for them. What are some resources that we don't have that we can give you? What are some courses that are out there that we may not know about? Do I need to attend a Zoom meeting, which is how I found out about the Equity Lab and how we brought those Cornell University courses to them and those Brown University courses to them that they passed with A's and B's and are in the National Honor Society, so please don't discount my kids. Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, it's just like, um, when I was in high school, it's just like, I was one of these kids, right? And I was just like, man, college, that's not for me. And then to imagine, right, that
Mhm.
a principal would believe in you so much that she would bring not just any college,
Right.
Ivy League to come and teach you, and you end up with a B or an A, and that's college credit, right?
That's college credit, and it goes on their transcripts. They actually get a transcript from Brown University, a transcript from, Cornell. This year, we had a course with Howard University. They have a transcript from an HBCU.
Wow.
So, it's important that they know that you don't have to wait to graduate high school to get to college. You can start now.
And it demystifies college because a lot of
Yes.
times, like if your dad had a 10th grade education, my mom had a third grade education, they didn't get the opportunity to go to college. So how can they teach us about
Right,
college? We need to
right.
find out about college from other people, and otherwise it gets mystified. It's
Yes.
like, oh, what is college? I don't belong there.
Yeah, The Wizard of Oz, who's behind the curtain, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you open those curtains, you shed that light. And the thing I always want to make certain that people understand, it's not easy. So what safety nets are we putting in place? Well, we hire private tutors. We use part of our school funding to hire those tutors to help our scholars. So now, okay, so let's write in a different fashion. Let's get beyond the 3 or 5 paragraph essay to pages. Let's do something. So now we're pulling you, we're extending you. It doesn't mean that it's like, oh, okay, they took a class and it's easy. No, I read one of the first courses that they took was, I believe it was called Law and Literature. And they had to read these legal cases. And I looked at one of the ones that they were reading and I was like, okay, good luck. Thank you. No, I was like, but they're not watering down the curriculum for them. They're leveling up.
So you set a high bar, but you also raise the floor. You raise the bar and you raise the floor for them.
Yes. Yes.
Mm,
And providing those safety nets and those other resources that they may not otherwise have access to is a support for them.
wow. So you say you have some houseless kids, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And
They're passing those
do they
classes too.
succeed?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. But you have to make certain that they're also cared for.
Mm,
So, yes, we can provide the curriculum, we can provide the tutors and the resources. Okay, but what are some other things that they need? Do they need some social emotional well being? Do we have a PSW? And if we don't have one, how can we get some of those other resources here for them? One example is so they have a telehealth, a telemental health
mhm.
program, but you have to have a private area to do that. So one of my students needed that. So every Wednesday or Tuesday, I block off like 45 minutes, close off my office so he could use it, to get his private counseling.
Wow. So you're okay. So I started by saying that sometimes these young people are they're not lacking intellect, they're lacking
Not at all.
opportunity,
Yes.
and you're an opportunity finder. And actually, that's how you found me. Somehow,
Mm.
I just heard from you one day out of the
Yeah.
blue, and you're like, "Hey, Dr. Rios, fancy professor at UC Santa Barbara, come
Love that.
down to my continuation school and work with my kids."
And I love that. And you said yes. I was like, "Oh my god, he's coming to my school. He's gonna meet my babies," and it was just like kismet. It
Mm,
was like, the school loved you, we loved you, the students loved you, and it was life-changing for some of them.
mm,
You've met some of my scholars who have won, scholarships from the state, Jay Martinez, being one of them last
yeah,
year, and just those connections, for them to see someone who looks like them, who they have aspirations of being like, it's nice.
that's incredible. Well, thank you for that invitation because it keeps me sort of understanding, right, where young people are at today and
Yeah.
not so much like, oh, I went through this and I studied this, but it's like you're working with them in the year 2025, Gen Z, they got their
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
dilemmas, they got their own struggles. And if we just make assumptions about them without being there with them, seeing how they struggle,
Mhm.
we're
Absolutely.
we're not gonna be able to help them.
Right, and it's beyond TikTok, right? So, it's, like, really walking with them and helping them and showing them and guiding them because they know some things, and their generation has been through a lot right now. COVID, school closures, they're still trying to navigate life. But now what else can we do to support them? Because they may not have had as many coping skills as we had growing up because, like, COVID was thrust upon them and then everything shut down.
Yeah. Now I know in this work, right, you don't get to, unfortunately, right, you don't get to, save all of them, or better said, you don't get to provide all of them the right opportunities, and then some of them you lose. What's one of the students that
Mm,
you wish you could have just like found the right
yeah.
opportunities for?
That's a great question because not everybody is college bound. People think, okay, college bound, or they say college and career, but what if you need something in between that? That's a great question. I'm trying to think of one individual, two young ladies actually. One went on to graduate, and then the other one, she hasn't quite found her way yet.
Mhm.
But I always tell them, you can always come back. We'll help you. And we've had that with some of them who may not have graduated with us, but now they want to continue on or they want to go to adult school, and we help them apply.
Mhm.
So don't have many of them, but I always tell the
What's your
ones who,
graduation rate?
oh, so this year it will be 100%. So
What?
last year, I
Wait,
believe it
wait,
was,
hold on.
yeah,
You got
yeah,
a continuation school
yeah,
with kids that face some of the toughest issues like any kid can face in LA,
yeah.
and you're graduating all of them?
Oh, yes. So the final two for this year will graduate in the summer in August, which is still considered part of this graduating class. So we graduated on Tuesday, all but two of those students. They're finishing up their last coursework this summer. And it's so cute because one of them, I said, well, I come to the summer graduations, right? I give you your same diploma. I said, I already have it ready for you. I give them regalia. So I said, it's nothing different. And he was like, you do? I said, always. So
Oh,
I'm there to give you your diploma and award you your regalia and your cords. And yeah, absolutely. Cheer you on, take
what
pictures with you and your family.
what about a student that you like, a big flex for you, like, "We really got this student from all the way down here all the way up here."
So I will say one of them is my previous the one who was, the award recipient, Jay. So Jay, and if anyone knows the story and it was, aired last year, he's a cancer survivor.
Wow, where was the story?
So it was on the AXA website, the state AXA website,
Okay.
and he was a cancer survivor.
And that's sorry, the Association of California School Administrators.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
They can go look that up, the
yes.
story. Okay.
So, um, he came to us and he'd fallen behind because he'd been ill and in and out of school. And then I think just sort of lost, I'll say a little hope. But then literally, I was like, okay, you're coming to school a little later. Why are you coming late? Because I tell them all, we see you. I see you. We're a small school. I know all of your names. You're not getting by. So I pulled him and I said, why are you coming to school late? I noticed that you're coming a little later. I said, I need you here. I said, I miss you when you're not here.
Mm.
And so literally, I think it was just that really one conversation, and then me saying hi every morning. He was there on time. He was coming early. He was a leading scholar, one of the ones who passed both of those courses with A's, Cornell and Brown.
Uh,
Went on to college, yes. So
where's he at?
he is at Trade Tech. He's getting his it's not construction, it's electrician. They're
Wow.
gonna make way more money than I
Right?
will. Yes,
Uh,
because I'm not fooling around with the electricity. I'm like,
here's the thing. I meet educators that say to me, "Hey, Dr. Rios, college isn't for everyone." And I do ask, can we please rephrase that? And can we say college can be for everyone,
yes,
but there are
love it.
also other opportunities besides college. So we're
Love that.
always training kids for the 4-year college, but we're also always showing them the trade options because those are big right now.
Those are huge. And one thing I want them to understand is that when you go to college or there's some data out there and it shows how your lifespan is extended. And I was asking my scholars, I said, why do you think that is? They said, well, you don't have to worry as much. I said, well, yeah. I said, but you know why? Medical insurance, benefits,
Good healthcare.
good health care.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so this is something that fascinates me about you, Dr. Charles, is that you're day to day with the people, among the people, visiting homes, educating parents, working with kids, counselor, therapist, social worker, principal, teacher, educator, um, uh, doing it all. Resource finder, opportunity, um, wizard. And then I see you at state level administrator,
Mm.
leadership conferences, not only being part of committees, but also winning many awards in that world. How do you do how do you do both? Like work in the grassroots and in the grass tops? Where do you find the energy for that?
I don't know. I drink coffee. But I think the work that I do, and because I love it, leads to that. So it's not like you have this award and my mom says, awards are great, they're titles, but what is the work that's being done? So
Mm,
I focus on the work, and then if an award comes, I'm very grateful and thankful, but it's the work that has propelled me to receive that award. So
mm.
I focus on the work.
So you're in the grassroots. And then, of course, you're a visionary, so you're looking bigger picture and you participate in the high level admin stuff, but you don't let go of the grassroots.
No,
And then
no,
when it's time, you come up to the grass tops. Hey, how's everyone doing? What are you doing at your school? Look, this is what I'm
because that's where
sharing.
policy is happening.
Yeah.
So, and that's where the changes can be made. You mentioned earlier in terms of like change, or in this year, it was our theme was from scholar to change agent for our scholars. And I asked them, I said, okay, so what are you going to do? You're going to go out there and change the world. You have to. And then I quoted Octavia Butler, everything you touch, you change. Everything you change changes you. And
Wow.
that's from Parable of the Sower. So, what are you going to touch? You've touched me, people here have touched you, so now you touch someone else and you change. You have to change the world. That comes in policy too.
And by the way, the research shows that when young people come from trauma or marginality or adversity, The number one way in which to get them to change is to give them tools to become change agents
Yes.
in their
Yes.
lives, with their family, and with their community.
And I told them, I said, "Okay, you pay it forward. You see how we helped you? You have to go out and help at least one other person."
Wow. Okay, so you're a big time principal. You're a big time,
I
you're a
don't know about
big time educator. You've educated them all. You're doing great. You have a great career. And all of a sudden, a year ago, you also got a doctorate degree. You
Yes.
became Dr. Charles. Why go there if you already had all this other stuff going on? Why get that
Mhm.
doctorate?
So for me, I love learning. I'm literally a nerd at heart. So I don't ever stop learning, I'll say, because you take a class here, you go to a webinar there. So this for me was that next level. And it was something that I wanted to do.
Mm,
So it was something I'll say, not just for me, but for me growing in another realm because I looked at the disparity amongst females of color in STEM
mm.
and how the media played a role in that. So we need to bring more of our young people and more of our females of color into STEM.
How does the media implicate it?
Well, just by if you look at the roles that are given to females of color, maids, those. So, what are we saying to our young people? Are we seeing those scientists and those engineers on television portraying things? Maybe now more so, they are more so. But when I was coming up, the only one that I could recall was the show Julia, and I loved that show. And she was a black female nurse, single mom,
Wow.
right? So, how are we portraying our young people on TV that perhaps we don't even know is resonating with them,
And
and
that
they're replicating that?
Yeah, that has an effect. It's like, "Oh, yeah, I could be." Maybe it's subtle, but, hey, I could be a medical doctor. I saw this
Yes.
cool black medical doctor or a cool Latino medical doctor saving lives
Right.
on TV the other night. Maybe I could do that too. And
Exactly.
he was from the hood, and I'm from the hood, and maybe
Yes,
I could do that too.
exactly. What are we putting out there for them to even grasp onto as an image?
Yeah, and it takes this continuing educating yourself. We never stop growing, and
Right.
so I'm just, you know proud to know you because you've taught me that, like, hey, don't stop learning. You keep going, and
Oh,
it's like
thank you.
you do a lot of great things, but you keep learning. I mean, you've been on my own webinars. I'm like, what's Dr. Charles doing here? Like, she's an expert in
'Cause
all of this. Why is she on my webinar? Like,
because I need
getting
to
me a
know,
shout
I need
out.
to learn what's going on out there that I need to well, not just for me to learn and keep, but for me to learn and share.
Yeah. I wanted to share a statistic from a study. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, Black women earn only 2.4% of all
Mhm.
doctoral degrees awarded in the US last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a powerful and sobering number. What does it mean to you to stand in that small percentage? How do you carry that responsibility? And then how do we create
Wow.
a pipeline?
Oh, that's really good, especially with creating a pipeline. So, standing in that space means that you don't just, have it and hang on the wall.
Mm,
So remember years ago, I had colleagues who obtained their doctorate, and they were like, "Oh no, call me by my first name." I was like, Absolutely not." I said, "Do you understand what that means for number one, a female to have that?"
yeah,
I said, "No." I said, "You usually don't hear males say that, but you do hear females say that." So I tell them, so I would tell them then, I'm not going to, diminish that. So what I try to do is remember to put mine or say, "Oh, no, it's Doctor Charles," or, oh, if somebody asks me your name, I say, "Oh, Doctor Simone Charles." So I try to put that out there so that other scholars can hear it too, and they know that, "Oh, well, wait a minute, maybe I can do that too." Or not even maybe, they can. So standing in that space is important in the sense that it's not just for me.
yeah, yeah. The other day, I had this experience where, at UC Santa Barbara, where I work, and it's like, um, there's a staff meeting, and staff kept calling one of their fellow staff by their first name, and she's a woman of color, and I'm just watching this happen, and then finally I just like, she has a doctorate degree, right? So and her name's Dr. Jones. said, "Dr. Jones." And
Nice.
they're used to calling her by their first name, and then I kept saying, "Dr. Jones." Finally, the staff caught on, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, Dr.
Dr.
Jones,
Jones.
Dr. Jones,
Yes.
Dr. Jones." And the reason I was so adamant about it is exactly what you're talking about, that there's a level of kind of commitment that that degree is not just for the person, but
Yes.
for the community, but also the respect that maybe other groups get paid when they get a doctorate.
That's a very
And it's
good
like,
point.
oh yeah, well, I'm just gonna call you by your first name. And so just kind of putting that bias in check sometimes is important. Like, give people the credit that they're due,
Right.
not to stroke their ego, right? But
Right.
to make sure
Absolutely.
that people understand that there's a role model in the room.
And again, it's not just in my perspective, it's not just for me. It's for others out there to say, "Hey, I can do this too."
Yeah, yeah,
But I like the pipeline part that you mentioned because that I think is crucial. How do we then create that pipeline? What do we need to do to tap into that or create one or to help others access it?
yeah. One of the things I've been doing is along the way as I meet mostly, teachers that are like, "Hey, Dr. Reels, like, how do I get a doctorate?" And I'm like, "Oh, let's get on a call. Let's set up a program for you."
Yeah.
And I think there might be a way where we could help people that are wanting to go into that world of getting that doctorate by creating mentoring partnerships.
Oh, I like that. And as you were saying that, I was thinking of like, we have those CTE pathways
Mhm.
that we create. What are we doing for those other pathways
Yeah,
for adults or young people to move into that doctoral realm?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you lead with heart. It shows. What's your approach to building school culture with high expectations and high emotional support?
Hmm. So this is not done in a vacuum. I have an amazing team of educators around me. So I would say making sure that they're trained. And when I say trained, giving them opportunities to attend workshops, um, to elevate their learning. So I have a one teacher who's actually a nationally board certified teacher, Mr. Malik, and he's nationally board certified in English, but he also had a dual major at UCLA, one in African American studies. So okay, now we want to offer ethnic studies. We want to offer African American studies. Now let's pull that out and have you go to some workshops or have you teach the HBCU course or things like that that will extend your wisdom and knowledge to our young scholars, but also making sure that they're trained. My math teacher is sending him to workshops, making sure he's trained on equitable grading. So now he is our EGI champion and he's training the other teachers and he can lead some of those workshops. And our art science teacher, having her go, Miss Richter, having her go to workshops. And she did a great series of lessons and workshops on where science and art collide. And our students' artwork was shown at the Getty.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so it's things like that, making sure that they have the tools that they need. So, yes, we're gonna make ensure always that our scholars have what they need. But now we also have to make sure that the educators have what they need so that they can provide that to the scholars. Because if you're there with one pencil and everyone else has, a tablet or a Chromebook and you're trying to teach, writing on a chalkboard, and don't get me wrong, I love chalkboards. I used to love to, but now we have a Promethean board. We have different tools and resources, technology that they can use to help the scholars and to educate them. Let's send them to trainings and make sure that they're able to do that.
Yeah, nowadays, right, the teaching profession, teachers get asked to do more and
Oh
more,
my gosh, yes.
work more and more hours, um, not paid well relative to others with a similar level of education in our society.
Right.
And there's a lot of research out there on the burnout and sort of teachers want to save lives, but
Yeah.
if they can't prosper in their own personal lives, how can they save lives, right? So you provide an environment. How do you do that? How do you provide that environment for your
Mm.
teachers to feel like, even though this is a tough job, it's a job I chose to do, and I'm prospering here because my students are prospering?
So I think because we do a lot of it together, so we go to trainings together. We do workshops together. When we did project based learning leadership, we did it together. So it wasn't just me saying, "Hey, I need you to do this or go send them there. We actually did that 6-week workshop together. So they see me trying to learn with them and grow with them and grow in some areas that we all may feel a little bit hesitant about or uncertain or how do we make this happen? But we're doing it together, bringing workshops to them on our campus, and making sure that they have the resources that they need because and that they're fed. Okay, so
Mhm.
fed in knowledge, but you know, when we have a meeting, sometimes I'll buy lunch and we sit down. It's like, okay, if we're going to ask you to do a working lunch, I'm going to buy lunch. Where are we ordering from? And have it delivered to the school. And we sit there, we have our meeting, and we're getting what we need to get accomplished. But we're also in a family communal environment too. So we're
Mm.
learning and growing and food is love, right? So
Yeah.
we're loving on each other with food and knowledge.
Where'd you learn your leadership skills from?
I'll say my mom.
Oh.
My mom. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's incredible. So she just growing up, she was
Oh,
your
yes.
family leader.
Yeah, family leaders, yeah, mom, and I think about the times my sisters and I when we would all cook gumbo. So my mama cook gumbo, but, late nights, we were all chopping seasoning. That was before those little
Yeah.
machines. You're hand chopping, but you're sitting around the table chopping seasoning, and you're talking, and you're laughing, and you're enjoying stories, and you're loving. So
So we all have to work, right? We all have to work,
you have to work.
but we work in communion
Yes.
and no one gets left behind, but also
Absolutely.
no one is allowed to leave others behind.
Absolutely, yeah,
And you got that from mom,
from
but you
mom.
brought it to the schoolhouse.
Yeah, and
That's
it's funny,
beautiful.
you don't realize the lessons that you learn growing up
Yeah.
are the ones that translate to other professions and transcend just the walls or the table.
Yeah, people always ask me, "Hey, Rios, I seen you in Texas, and then I seen you, you know, at this event, and I seen you in Watts doing a community thing with the youth out there, and then I seen you teaching a job at your job at UCSB, and then I seen you. How do you do it all? And you're raising kid. How do you do it all?" And I always say, "Look, the people that raised me had 2,
Mm,
3 jobs,
mhm.
but it was like my mom was washing dishes all day, and then, my uncles had 2 jobs, and then my mom, even though, she had been washing dishes all day, she was finding other ways to make money. So, just seeing our
Mhm.
families,
Absolutely.
right, have to work so hard, it just becomes embedded in us like, "Okay, I'm gonna work hard," but the opportunity we get is to work hard for others.
Yes.
Whereas, maybe for my family, it was, working hard for my family so I could just pay the rent and the food on the table, but now we get an opportunity to flourish a little more beyond just our
Yeah,
own
just that.
family.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And just remembering those kinda like special moments, and it doesn't have to be a huge amount of money for you to be happy or to do things with family. So, like me buying lunch for my staff, that's my way of thanking them too, because I don't know that people understand the dynamics of a continuation school in the sense that you are the single site administrator. I don't have an AP. I don't have a counselor. Well, I have a counselor 1 or 2 days a week, but I don't have coordinators. Tag it as us. So if they opted not to do something, you know,
Everyone would feel it.
everyone feels it.
Yeah.
The school community feels it. So I think because we do things together and they see me in there with them doing it, that it allows them to say, okay, you know what? I don't mind doing this.
Mm.
She's not just saying or trying to delegate and say, you do this or you do that. We're doing it together.
Yeah.
So, and you have to have that family style or family mentality in those settings so that you can all work together
Mhm.
to get to the next together.
Yeah. To get to the next together. That's profound. A next together that we haven't even, um understood what that's gonna look like. But we
Exactly.
know we gotta stick together, especially in difficult times.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
our students are in crisis, in many ways
Yeah.
nowadays, right? Whether it's anything from AI and social media to, bullying to, fears of families getting snatched up
Well,
or
one of my students' parents was deported.
mm,
So then now how do you help and mitigate that? So what other resources can we provide? What do we need to do? How do we surround, that child and that family and help them out? So, we talk about like homelessness, we talk about foster youth. Well, then that created another situation where now you have another foster child, right?
Mm,
So now how are we helping? What are we doing? How are we still showing that we love that child?
mm.
So you make sure that they're safe. You make sure that they're secure. You make sure, okay, I found this resource. Let me make sure you have it.
Yeah, so you're creating a home away from home because they might not have
Absolutely.
that first home
Absolutely.
from one day to the next.
Right.
Ooh. Yeah, that's powerful to be able to do that. I mean, that's beyond your duty. Your call of duty is like, hey, run a
Mhm.
school, make sure kids graduate, and it's like you're way above that and beyond that.
So it's interesting that you said beyond the call of duty. I don't know. Maybe that is my call of duty. You know,
Mm,
I mean, the piece of paper says, okay, you can teach this level and that. It's like, oh, okay. But education is so much more. And it doesn't mean that it's not tiring, but what gives you energy and what gives you fuel is knowing that it's gonna be okay and that you've helped someone, that you've expanded beyond just your thinking of like, "Oh my gosh, this is really rough." Me, I say, "Okay, let me get another cup of coffee, shake it off, and keep going." So, you
yeah,
gotta keep moving.
yeah, we do. There's some up and coming educators right out there that listen, and what I love is that sometimes I get notes from students
Mm.
or teachers like, "Hey, we've been watching the podcast,"
Oh,
right?
neat.
And so, what do you have to say to those teachers out there that are up and coming?
Mm,
They're trying to save lives, but also, they don't have a big voice because they're newer to the profession.
mm. It takes time to find your voice. I mean, I've, like, literally have begun to found mine, I would say over the years. I share with my scholars that when I was in high school, I dropped out of a class because they wanted me to introduce myself.
That's the only reason why you dropped
And
it?
so I was terrified, terrified. They wanted me to say my name and my grade, and then it got to the person right before me and the bell rang. I ran over to my counselor. I was like, "I can't do this." I was like, "Oh
Wow.
my god, no." So, drop that, but I said, "It's a process." So, to those young up and coming educators, it's a process. Don't expect to be perfect the first year. Do not. Not even the second or the third. You're going to grow. You're going to learn. Things are going to change. There may be a new curriculum adoption in those first couple of years. Just continue to learn
Mhm,
and know what your focus is. And their focus is on those scholars,
mhm.
those young people.
Yeah. I'm gonna cite another research study here. According to 2021 Rand Corporation study, schools with strong supportive principals had 11% higher student
Mm,
achievement and 25% higher teacher retention. I know you're pretty good about retention. How do you build trust and empowerment in your school community um, when, say, you get those moments where like, uh-oh, we had, 8 different incidents today, and
yeah,
are we doing a good job here?
right. I think the same thing that I try to instill in my scholars, I try to instill in my educators, my teachers. Number one, partnership, but also letting them know when they've done something well. Because people would be surprised that adults don't always compliment each other or let each other know when they've done something well.
Mm.
So we're quick to say when something's done wrong. You have complaint boxes in restaurants instead of compliment boxes, right?
Mhm.
So that mindset is there where I'm going to tell them what I don't like.
Yeah,
But what about telling people what you do like, what they did well?
yeah,
It doesn't mean that you're going to excuse like things that are egregious,
yeah,
but let's let people know when they've done something well.
yeah, yeah, I get that. So, okay, so I'm one of your teachers, right? And, I don't know, you caught me, working with a kid that maybe I don't get along with. I don't get along with them, but you caught me like, "Hey, Billy, hey, check this out, like, wanna work on that assignment that's late? I'll spend a little extra time here if you want. I'll be over here at the bench. No pressure, but I'll be at the bench outside. I know it's after school, so you could go home if you want, but I'm down to help you if you
Mhm.
want." Like, what do you say to that teacher?
I love that you did that. I mean, I just literally say, I love that you did that. I said, you saw him, you knew that he may not have wanted to ask for the extra attention in class or
Mhm.
ask for the extra help, but you made it comfortable enough for him to walk to you and be open. And when you were asking earlier about school culture, one of the places that I think of our teacher, Mr. Fong, he plays basketball with the students every day at lunch.
Yeah, I played
It's
with him once or
yes,
twice in that
yes,
parking lot.
yes, and they talk to him, so they get to know each other, and so that reduces and lowers that affective filter, so they feel more comfortable if I don't understand something, if I don't know, "Well, I'll be right here. Okay, let me go and ask him."
Yeah.
So building in those things that are maybe uncommon, but are needed.
Mm, yeah, that's crucial. Okay, so now we're gonna get to a part I like to call real with the Rios.
Okay,
All right, this is where we get a little personal, a
okay.
lot real. It's fun. If you weren't doing what you do today,
Mm.
what's something you'd be doing just for the joy of it?
So I love to read. I love novels. I'm a nerd. I would read to kids. So one of the things I always said that I would do when I retire is just like volunteer at a hospital and read to the kids in the cancer ward or just read to some of the kids who are in the hospital. I love to read.
Wow.
I used to when I taught first grade, I loved that. I love story time because they had the big, um, rugs on the floor, and then at that time, and I guess they still have them, the big books, right? They had the big books, and then the little guys, they had the little one to follow along with. I love to read.
Wow. So you'd be reading to
I'd
people.
be reading and teaching them to read. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. All right. And
Outside of being a ballerina, though.
oh, so tell me about that.
Oh,
Did you
no.
ever dance or
Oh, God, no. But I would have wanted to, but I never saw any black ballerinas.
powerful? Guess what? I
Yeah.
had a PhD student. She finished
Mm,
Sakani Robinson. She's from LA too. Her dissertation, her research was on black ballerinas.
nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I got to get you that
Oh,
study. She
that's
wrote a
cool.
whole
Oh, I'd love
book.
to read that because I was so excited when I finally saw Misty Copeland,
Wow.
and I was like, "Wow!" I was like, "Had I known like 50 years ago, this could have been real." So,
Wow.
yeah, I would have done a lot of things differently then.
Yeah.
Probably, maybe not as many Big Macs, but I don't know. I love Big Macs, so
So dance, reading,
yes.
that's incredible.
Yeah, I think if I weren't in education, that's probably what I'd be doing.
Mm.
Yeah, unless I won the lottery, I don't know. Travel.
I don't know. I think if you
I
won the
still would. I know.
lottery,
I still would.
you turn that school into like
I
you
would.
buy vacant land
I'd build a school, I
and
know.
build a
I told you
school
I'm a
for all
nerd.
those babies.
I am a nerd at heart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what you would do. And you would know the framework because you
Yes.
study all the frameworks. I mean, I see you at every conference trying to learn something new every time.
Gotta keep it going.
Yeah. And the next question here is, so I like fixing things ever since I was a kid. I was like, it was like a broken TV on
Mm,
the corner. Pick it up, bring it home, and try to fix it. Or I've
that's
worked
cool.
on cars my whole life, and my son Marco and I, and my girls too. They'll help out. We have an old car, old Camaro. We've been working on for a while, and
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so we like fixing things. I like fixing things, and building things. So if you could fix anything in your life
Uh-oh.
right
Let
now,
me see. If I could fix
what would
anything
you
in my life.
fix?
Hmm. I'd probably fix in time, I'll say, fix in time to travel. So,
Oh, I see.
yeah. So I don't know that I mean, I'm happy with my life. I mean, I'm sure there's something that needs to be done differently always, but I would adjust my time to probably fix and fit in time to travel so that you can have those moments where you're just not thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that downtime. So I would fix that in me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this summer, we're going into summer right now.
Yes.
Are you traveling anywhere?
So no, but I plan on so that's what I mean. I'm like, okay, so stop, Simone, pause, and plan something where you do that. So that's one of the things I want to we have about what I think 2 more weeks or so, and then I want to fix in, even if it's just like a couple of days here or there, fit in and fix that where you stop, and I mean like stop and pause and then and fit in some vacation time.
That's amazing. So one of my other guests, his name's Jesus Vera. He's a therapist. He's a Gen Zer. He just finished his master's.
Nice.
Actually, he's celebrating his graduation is actually tomorrow. As we film
I
this, it's
love that.
tomorrow. And he was a guest here, and he was talking about you know the way in which we kind of uh, vision cast, and then the way in
Mm,
which we sort
mhm.
of come up with ideas about our futures,
Yeah,
and about our sense of self, and just seeing you in real time right now as we're
mm,
talking, making a commitment
yeah,
and saying, "Hey, thanks for
yeah,
thanks for asking me that question. I'm about to go and
yeah.
find a way." So what he does is he has an accountability group,
Oh,
and that's his
nice,
brother and his cousins and his uncle,
nice.
and they meet once a week. And they're
That's
like,
cool.
"Okay, the other day you told me you were gonna fix in travel time.
Mm.
So I'm gonna be your accountability buddy, and
Okay,
I'm gonna text you in a
okay,
week, and I'll
okay. And
be
see,
like,
where are you
'Hey, Dr.
going?
Charles,
Yep.
where are you going?' And I want
Okay,
an answer."
okay. And I'm gonna have one. I'm going to plan somewhere and actually go, not just plan it, but actually go and do it.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
important. Yeah, you're right, because um, when you take space away,
yeah,
right? Talk about fixing things, right? You take a s you take some space away from that. I mean, you're always fixing this incredible community, right? And you're always figuring out a way to build it further. And you take a little space away from it, you come back with different insight on how to
yeah,
keep building
yeah.
it.
Because you've been rejuvenated.
Yeah. Why do you think
Mm,
you do it? Do you think you have a
mm,
fear that if you step away,
hmm.
things will fall apart, or why do you think you decide not to step away as much?
No. So I think because I love what I do, and then I'm always trying to figure out like how I can make it better. So it's like, okay, well, maybe if I do this or maybe if I do that. So, um, but I also want to make certain that I'm going to step back for a moment. There's an AXA phrase for our AXA Region 16: leading, lifting, and leaving a legacy. So how am I leading others or lifting others, and what legacy am I going to leave? So for me, the legacy are those scholars, right? But it's also I need to make sure that the legacy is making sure that the next generation of adults or educators have what they need, the supports that they need, so that they can fill that space, that they can just step into it and feel comfortable and go with the flow.
Mhm. And by you taking a little time to travel,
I
you're
can.
taking away from that.
So I think so. I think sometimes I think that, but I think that I just need to like release some of it and then say, okay, it's going to be okay. I don't need to be in there and it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Because the legacy, sometimes we think of legacy like in the future,
Right.
like,
Right. But it could
when
be
I
now.
die, or, but like you already, Dr. Charles, have left a legacy.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like
Hope so. I hope so.
legacy is in the making rather than in the future.
Oh, I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. In the
And,
making and
and
in the
we're too
future.
humble to admit it.
I
But
like
last
that.
night, two of my students
I like that though.
with their doctorate degrees, graduated with their doctorate. And they were shouting me out. I shouted them out. And in that moment, it's like, oh, okay. Building a little legacy already. It's
Yeah.
not like one day. It's like,
It's in that moment. I
yeah.
love that. Yeah.
And so for you to
Mm.
just rejoice in it, that's
Mm.
important. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What was it? Savor the moment.
Savor the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'm gonna do
wonderful.
that.
So, Dr. Charles, thank you for leading with wisdom, courage, and heart. Your legacy is already unfolding, and your work is the blueprint for future leaders, and I mean it. To our listeners, remember, you don't need a title to lead, but it's great to have a title sometimes. And you just need that vision, the voice, and the willingness to show up. This is Sueños to Success, Real with Rios. Until next time. Thank you,
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank
Charles.
you.